Rules ruin detailing. Why is this idea that there has to be rules in detailing? For example, when it comes to pre-rinsing or pre-soaking or snow foaming or APC rinsing, which is better? Which one do I do first? Welcome to the Voice of Detailing. The reason I started this podcast is to help new detailers find their way through the multiverse of detailing. Over the past 15 years of running a detailing business, we've come to realize that there is an overload of information out there, and many new and upcoming detailers find it frustrating when they search for advice on products, tools, and methods. Many detailers on YouTube and social media love to focus on product and tool reviews, disaster details, or detailing luxury and exotic cars. But mostly that's for entertainment purposes. Now, product and tool reviews do have their place, but I'll talk about that in a different podcast. Now, this is going to go pretty deep, and you may think, why? It's just detailing. Why overcomplicate it? Exactly. Why indeed? This topic is to clear up the confusion caused by the very ones making it overcomplicated. If no one speaks up to explain, well, the confusion will proliferate, and more useless detailing videos with confused detailers commenting are going to happen. I've watched and listened to so many detailers try to explain it and demonstrate what they do, and still in the comments, I see tons of questions about what they should do. Obviously, some of these videos don't really help that much, because many people are still not understanding the most important part of all. It is not about the rules. It's not about the chemicals one should use, or if I should rinse first before a pre-wash, or should I just pre-soak it? Which one is more effective? People get so hung up on the rules that they forget the principles. Now, let me explain briefly the difference between rules and principles. Now, principles are general guidelines that can be applied in many different circumstances. Ideas that govern someone's thoughts and behavior or actions. They guide you to do what you know to be right or correct. Rules are more specific and restrictive. They're imposed on you from an outside source and must be obeyed at risk of a penalty. Now, importantly, the one that holds you accountable to your principles is you alone. Now, here's an interesting quote, and I will put this link in the description. I quote, "A principle imposed on another person is no longer a principle. It is a rule." So to put it plainly, rules force you to do what people say, no matter what the situation. And if you do it another way, well, you're labeled as wrong, as opposed to following a principled method or doing whatever is needed in any given circumstance so as to tackle a situation properly and efficiently. Rules box you in and don't allow you to make proper decisions based on circumstances. Principles allow room for discernment, flexibility, and better decision-making. So some examples of principles may be dirt and mud will cause minor to moderate scratches, swirls, or marring on the paint. So this will help one to understand how to proceed. Least aggressive method first. Or a brand new vehicle is cleaner and will not take as much cleaning as an older daily driver, depending on demographics and how well the owner cares for it. Or interior leathers, plastics, and carpets may be older and worn, so use the least aggressive method first. So these are just examples of general truths that will dictate how to proceed. Principles cannot change. They can't even be challenged because they're fundamental truths. Rules, however, can be challenged and even changed at times. That's why principles will help you far more than just rules. Instead of watching videos to look for the rules of what you should do or not do, and maybe getting yourself confused because one detailer is doing it this way, but another detailer is telling you to do it that way. Really, the single most important thing to learn is what does the vehicle need and what does your customer want and what are they paying for? Those questions will help you to determine what chemicals and what processes or methods are needed to move forward. For example, a huge truck is scheduled for you to do a full detailing service, whatever that is in your business. It's extremely dirty and muddy, and we're talking about thick, caked on dried mud. Now, it's been on there for weeks, and the customer hasn't done anything to clean it off. But wait, there's more variables. You don't have a shop, it's in the middle of summer, and where you are in your demographic, let's say it's above 90 degrees and humid, full sun, no clouds or shade. Now let's stop there, because I could go on and on with more and more variables or situations, but I think you get it at this point. What do you think should be done first to start the cleaning process? Well, some may say do a pre-soak with a strong snow foam or soap or APC to get the cleaning process started. Some may say start by rinsing the mud off first, and then you can do whatever pre-wash or pre-soak you want to do so that it's more effective. And others even claim to use a rinseless wash. Yeah, I've heard that before. Well, what's the right answer? Well, see, rules won't help you here, but principles do. Principles will allow you to be more flexible and rely on logic and common sense. Now let's think it through. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You have to use common sense and not just listen to your favorite detailer. Now, for example, if you use a strong pre-soak, do you think that it'll cut through the inches of thick, hard mud? Can the best pre-soak chemical actually do that? Or would rinsing the heavy mud off first be more effective? You're going to use a lot of water no matter what. Let's be real here. And don't rely on what you see on YouTube with those disaster details, because a lot of them are staged, and they really don't explain anything of value in them. They're mostly for entertainment purposes. Now, some people will say, just tell me what to do. I've had people comment that in our videos. Well, no, you're going to have to use what you've learned and make a decision for yourself. I can only give you guiding principles and logic, and you have to figure out what you need to do in any given circumstance for each vehicle you encounter. Now, at this point, you may want to comment and say something like, well, that's not what I found to be true. I've pre-soaked muddy vehicles and it works great. Well, good for you. I'm glad that in your case it works out so well. But I haven't really found that to be true in my case. So is someone lying? Well, no. Remember the variables? Was the vehicle protected with either a wax, sealant, or coating, making it easier to clean? How long was the mud on there? And what type of mud? Because mud is a general term. Here in Virginia, we also have red clay. And if you've ever dealt with red clay, well, it's no ordinary mud. So with many different variables, you're going to have to change up your methods and your processes. There is not just one clear-cut rule. Now, what about the interior? Say that this nasty truck that came in has really bad stained cloth seats. Will you need to extract them? Or will a upholstery cleaner or steamer do the trick? Will you charge more? Well, did you have a conversation with the customer or see the vehicle beforehand? All those things come into play. And again, you're going to have to make a decision based on those variables. Now, what if in the same situation, you get a car that is brand new and already pretty clean? The customer wants the same full detailing service. What process will you choose now? The interior is new. Will you still extract everything because your detailing service specifically says you will? Is that really prudent? Will you charge the usual starting price? Or will you figure that, well, it's not that bad, so I'll give you a discount? These are all important questions, and you're going to have to make a decision for your own detailing business. But let's help you with the decision-making process using principles and logic. Both vehicles came in for the same detailing service. Now, for example's sake, a starting price for your typical full detailing is, say, $300. And this includes washing, deconning, whether it's clay bar, clay mitt, or iron decon, or both, and then some sort of sealant or wax protection, either by hand or by machine, and then a full interior cleaning, whatever that takes to be able to get the vehicle clean. Now, to clarify, we have learned to word things very deliberately in our detailing services. We will clean the interior using whatever methods are necessary, whether that's just using a cleaner, a steamer, or a carpet extractor if necessary. We do not promise to extract everything and anything just for the sake of doing so. If it needs it, we'll do it. If it is unnecessary, we do not. That will make a big difference in your efficiency as well. Now, will you charge the same price for each vehicle? Will you do the same exact amount of work on each vehicle? Because with one vehicle, if not appropriately timed out and priced, you will lose money. While with the other vehicle, your work is drastically reduced, but does that mean that the price is now also reduced? You'll learn very quickly what the correct decision is for your business. And no, I can't tell you what to do. You should know your demographic and what you need to make for your business to thrive. Now, wait a minute. What about all these other detailers on YouTube who have huge followings, showing and teaching people how to detail? Don't they have all the answers? Shouldn't we just listen to them? So I had people come here for our one-on-one training, and they have explained to me that they went to some of these huge training programs and spent a lot of money, only to find out that many of those large training courses love to sell you on their process and chemicals alone. Again, rule-based detailing. They come back more confused and annoyed because things didn't really work out in real life when they go back to their own businesses and try to put into practice what they learned. Now, that's not with every large detailing training course. There are plenty out there that teach properly, but those large trainings do depend on sales of products in large classrooms to cover expenses. And some people can't learn in that environment. I, for one, I need hands-on, one-on-one training, and I can provide that if you're interested. I'll put the information in the description. Now, teaching the principles of detailing will help you more than anything. It will help you make decisions in any given circumstance, and it will make you work faster, but more importantly, more efficiently. So again, why the confusion with pre-soaking, pre-rinsing, snow foaming? Each have their place. Each method or process has its purpose. One is not better than the other, and one does not necessarily need to supersede the other. What about chemicals? Which ones are the best? Well, stay tuned for the next podcast because we're going to dig deep into that subject. Don't forget to subscribe if you are enjoying these podcasts and the channel itself. Leave a comment down below if you've enjoyed this podcast, and let me know if you have any other subjects that you want me to talk about. We'll see you in the next one.